On this episode of MythBusters,
usually you fill potholes. I'm digging them. What are you going to do?
Adam and Jamie get punctures on purpose
I have always wanted to do that.
as they test mythical ways of fixing a flat.
I thought with the flat in the wilds, we'd be grasping at straws.
From Mother Nature to the urban sprawl,
Yeah, baby.
can you really improvise your way out of a jam?
Cast iron, manhole cover wheel, go!
Meanwhile, Kari, Grant, and Tory reel in a fishy fable
Oh!
as they test this viral video. If you catch a fast enough fish,
I carry your hook.
can it ever set your reel aflame?
It's getting too hot to hold. Man, 312.
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage
3, 2, 1.
and Jamie Heineman.
We're just going to have to crash it to find out.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience. Joining them, Tory
Time to go diving.
Grant Imahara,
44 Magnum, big.
and Kari Byron. They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
All right, Jamie, I'm gonna paint you a picture. You've driven out to the middle of nowhere to go backwoods camping. You've hiked out into the wilderness, and at the end of the weekend, you hike back to your car to find, oh, you got a flat tire. What do you do?
I put on the spare.
You don't have a spare.
I call a tow truck.
Nope, no cell phone reception.
I walk out.
Nope, walking is not an option. You have to somehow make that flat tire into a workable wheel. What do you do?
I improvise.
Exactly. That's what this story is about. Improvised solutions to making a flat tire into a workable wheel in the wilderness.
Under normal circumstances, fixing a flat is simple. Unpack the jack, prepare the spare, and you're good to go. But if you're in the middle of nowhere and the spare's not there, can you improvise your way out? Can Mother Nature really come to the rescue? Or will this myth hit the hay?
So what's the plan?
Well, we got a whole bunch of suggestions from the fan site for things people claim to have tried that got them out of jams. I think we should choose the 3 best to test.
Well, what say we go to the great outdoors and set up a course then?
A course that would include all the different obstacles one might encounter trying to get themselves out of a jam.
Exactly.
So to put this tire trilogy to the test, the team heads for the hills.
In order to run our tire fixes through their paces, we've chosen a course in this off-road facility that'll give us the widest range of standard road hazards you might encounter in just this kind of setting.
And that setting isn't the only thing they've settled on.
This is our test car. It is an average, ordinary, everyday sedan, and that's the point. This story is about an ordinary car out for an ordinary drive when things go sour and an extraordinary solution is required.
With the car sorted and a 2-mile lap lined up, things are looking good. But for Jamie, things are looking too good.
You would think that being stuck with a flat tire on a back road in the middle of nowhere would be bad enough. But guess what? I'm going to make it worse.
Jamie wants to make sure that their route is no walk in the park. With added potholes,
Usually you fill potholes. I'm digging them. What are you going to do?
water hazards,
There we go.
and speed bumps,
That right there will bottom a car out.
this course will now be the ultimate crash course for this myth. So all they need now is to acquire a flat tire.
I have always wanted to do that. What are we gonna do? We got a flat tire. So here's the drill. You're out in nature, miles from the road, with a flat tire and no spare. Pop quiz, hotshot. What do you do?
What you do is improvise. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to make our equivalent of a run flat tire out of stuff at hand like vegetation or straw.
Yep, you heard right. Fan fix number 1 involves first removing the wheel.
I just happen to have a lovely garage jack.
Then stuffing the cut-open tire with straw.
Now that's what I'm thinking.
Well, let's just see how far we get with that.
Before delivering a collection of bad puns.
I thought with the flat in the wilds, we'd be grasping at straws, but this is giving me high hopes.
Well, hey, if it works.
With Mark Twain turning in his grave, the guys reattach the wheel.
Hey, that's not bad.
Before stuffing in more straw until the tire is literally fit to burst.
Well, that's the last straw.
Now it's time for our straw-filled tire test. How do I think it's going to go? Well, I'm positive that having straw in this tire is going to be better than if we just had a normal flat tire. How long it actually lasts and whether the straw stays in there is the only worry that I have, and the only way to find that out is to test it.
And for that test, the guys are going to drive one complete lap of their warts and all circuit. But will the straw stand up to the challenge?
Let's get out of trouble.
Sensibly, Jamie starts slow.
How does it feel?
It feels a little spongy, but it seems like it's working.
But once they survive the speed bump
It bottomed out there.
and the pothole,
Yeah, that went fine too.
Totally fine.
he's confident enough to speed up.
Through the puddle.
And by the time he's halfway round, you might say he's making hay while the sun shines.
Definitely a very reasonable escape plan so far. Let's go uphill.
Amazingly, the straw tire stands up to whatever stands in its way.
No problem.
We can make it home.
At least until Jamie tries to end with a bang.
Very, very well done.
Whoa, it looks a little different.
I had high hopes for the hay, and my hopes were not misplaced. It performed fantastically. It went through the obstacle course pretty much without a hitch. You could feel it deteriorating. My feeling is you're using this to get out of a jam. Hay, in this case, would absolutely get you out of this jam. Very nicely done. Well, as a fix, I'm calling hay plausible.
Yeah, only a short-term one though.
Agreed. What's next?
Well, I think nature may have some more surprises in store for us.
Next up, something fishy.
All right, so this next myth is an old fishing myth, and it's not about the big one that got away. This one is about flaming reels.
Okay, flaming reels, you're gonna have to give me more than that.
All right, now as any fisherman knows, once the fish is on the line, all it wants to do is get away.
All right, meaning it takes off in the opposite direction.
Exactly, and as it's taking off, it's pulling a lot of line off that reel.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. If the line's coming off fast enough, it generates friction, which creates heat.
And if you generate enough heat, it could burst into flame, hence the name flaming reel.
And that's the myth. Can a fish cause a reel to catch on fire?
And it's a myth that's perfectly portrayed in this viral video. When the hooked fish flees, the friction on the spool causes the reel to first smoke and then catch fire. But is this really real?
All right, so I gotta say right off the bat, the physics of this myth add up. I mean, a spinning reel will experience friction, and that will generate heat.
But to generate enough heat to actually combust, we're talking about a pretty big fish.
Well, we do have big fish in our bay. I mean, we have sturgeon, we have shark. Maybe we charter a boat and see if we get lucky.
Yeah, who knows? We could catch a giant monster fish that would fight the line and confirm the myth.
All right, let's hit the high seas.
Don't forget to pack your seasick pills.
Oh, I won't.
And your alarm clock. Because this is a myth that starts early.
You guys ready to catch fish?
This is our boat.
You bet.
To put the flaming reel myth to the test, we got up at the crack of dawn and strolled down Fisherman Wharf to get onto this boat. Wacky Jackie, the saltiest sailor I have ever met, is gonna take us out sport fishing so that we can see if we can catch a reel on fire.
Captain Wacky Jackie. Now, I wonder how she got that nickname.
In your career as a fisherman, have you ever seen a reel catch on fire?
A real catch on fire?
Yeah.
I mean, real fire?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen arms on fire, you know, when we were kidding them about to bring the fish in, but never seen a reel on fire. You think something's gonna happen today like that?
That's what we're testing. That's the myth that we're testing right now.
Testing?
Okay, so the jury's still out for Jackie. But there is some method to this myth.
Now this whole myth is to see whether or not you can create enough friction on your reel that it gets so hot that it actually bursts into flames. And that's why we're out here on the bay, to see if we can catch a big fish and make that happen.
A strong, fast fish like a sturgeon or a shark could easily create friction to heat up the reel.
Catch me a big one.
But will it be enough to set it on fire?
Oh, I got
nothing.
Well, so far, nothing's taking the bait to find out.
Step 1, catch a fish.
We have been out here for hours, and so far, we have not gotten a single bite.
They say that fishing's a waiting game. But this is hardly the high-octane start that this myth needs.
Is fishing always this much fun?
After 8 hours without a single bite, the team decides to head on home.
So how are we gonna test this myth if we can't catch any fish?
I don't know. I mean, we've been out here all day, and all we have to show for is bait.
Yeah, apparently we are terrible fishermen.
So you wanna go back to the shop and figure out a way to do this without actually fishing?
That sounds like a great idea.
Since its creation thousands of years ago, the wheel has never really been improved. Until now, as Adam and Jamie reinvent it, testing mythical methods for fixing a flat. And with hey, a success, what's next?
Next up, we're branching out to other solutions for a flat tire.
Yep, next up is surely a clutching at straws type solution.
Don't hurt me. I will try not to hurt you.
That's a lovely little ski there.
A branch forced under and then tied to the flat tire. It's not pretty, but fads have said that this really works.
If you want to move something heavy across the ground, you got a couple of basic choices, really. You can do it with a wheel, or you can do it with a sled. And what we've got here is a makeshift sled built out of a tree branch and some rope. It ought to work, at least for a while.
But will it last for a full lap of their course?
Go!
Well, to say it's a slow start would be an understatement. Eventually, Jamie does get a grip.
Yes! Yes!
But they're certainly not out of the woods yet.
All right, here we go. We're on the rope. Oh, don't slow down for anything.
After slipping and sliding their way through the first 200 yards of their lap,
Oh, the control's a little rough, huh?
Yeah.
they meet the first major obstacle, the speed bump,
Go, go, go!
which causes their car to come to a standstill.
Come on!
The log came out.
No!
Yeah.
There's your problem.
It came out? Oh, it came out.
Yeah,
It abraded through all of the tie ropes up there close to the wheel.
that was pretty interesting, though, going down the road sideways. This track here pretty much tells the whole story. You can see the log still in place, and then it hits this bump. It sort of digs in, gets yanked out of place, and from here on in, it's pretty much just momentum.
Well, that seems to be about it for our little branch. Looks like it's time to move on to bigger pieces of wood.
With the branch busted literally and metaphorically, it's on to the final forest fix.
You may see a couple of logs here. I see a tire.
Being both round and strong, the logs are halfway there already. But which one would make for a better wheel?
This log's a little on the small side, but it's oak and it's well seasoned. So that means it's going to be less likely to split. This one, while it's bigger, it actually has splits that you can see that go almost all the way through it. And it's green. I'm going to go for the oak because I reckon it'll support the car okay.
Once Jamie's got the good wood, his next job is to make it as circular as he can.
Looks pretty round to me.
Before the guys jump cut their way through the rest of their final improvisation technique.
Wow. That is without a doubt the ugliest tire change I've ever seen.
If you saw somebody doing this on the side of the road,
You'd be like, can I help you in any way?
no, I think I'd just leave quickly.
With the log secured, it's fair to say that this wheel was by far the most labor-intensive of the three.
In the course of making our little wheel here, we've used 2 cordless drills, 2 auger bits, 7 lithium-ion batteries, 5 hole saws, 1 welder, 1 portable bandsaw. And if you're thinking to yourself, that sounds like a pretty unrealistic amount of equipment to carry around in your trunk, then clearly you're not a MythBuster.
Will it work? I don't think I'd want to go very fast on this particular wheel, but it seems like it's pretty solid. I think it's going to be the best one yet.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Roll along, little wheel. It's working good.
Remember, it's only the wheel that they've tinkered with. The suspension, brakes, and steering are all completely untouched.
Okay, here we go. Speed bump.
So, will the log help or hinder?
Oh, yeah! It made it!
I did fine.
Oh, it did totally perfectly!
It's certainly a case of so far, so good. But how will the potholes fare?
I'm nervous about the pothole. Wheel, back wheel's good!
Not a problem.
Not a problem.
With both the potholes and the puddles passed,
Oh, yeah! Wait, no problem!
it's not long before the MythBusters come full circle.
Hey! It's beautiful! Well, with our first prototype fully tested, the MythBusters Tire Company is ready to open its doors for business. This little baby worked magnificently on our course. It was, in fact, the best of all impromptu solutions that we have yet tried.
So, log wheel.
Totally confirmed.
Yep, let's go.
All right.
As the guys head on home, the Fixing a Flat myth is far from finished.
Ho, 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 ho!
Can a super fast fish ever set a fishing reel ablaze? Well, not if the MythBusters are anything to go by.
Is fishing always this much fun?
So based on our fishing trip, I think the only realistic way to actually test this myth is if we build a fake fish.
Well, this is just about a spinning reel creating enough heat to catch on fire. I mean, we don't technically need a real fish. I mean, we just need a fish substitute that'll pull the line off quick enough.
Okay, how about this? We get a go-kart. If we're gonna give this a good chance of working, we should use something really fast.
You know, the sailfish goes about 70 miles an hour. It's the fastest fish, and a go-kart could totally handle that speed.
All right, I'm all in, except for one exception. If we're going straight to the extreme scenario, why don't we load our other bases too? Let's find the best reel line combination that'll generate the most amount of heat, and we'll use that for our go-kart test.
Agreed. So, looks like we're starting out with some bench tests in the shop.
Awesome.
So with real fish proving too unreliable, the MythBusters are going to build their own. But first, they're focusing on the friction factors.
We're gonna start out by testing the line. Now for this experiment, the reel, the washers, and the lube will all remain the same. The only thing that's gonna change is the line. And the lines that we're gonna be testing are monofilament, Dacron, steel cable, and braided solid spectrum.
Whichever line generates the highest heat is the one they'll use for their full-scale test.
So this machine will be simulating the fish at the end of the line. I'll bring it up to speed using the foot pedal and guide it onto the reel. Then Tory will apply drag, and Kari will see how much temperature we actually get.
And Kari's hoping that temperature will be high.
It's not so far-fetched to think that some of this fishing line might catch on fire. All of it has some sort of resin or lubricant that gives it a really low ignition point. So if we get enough heat on this reel, we might see some smoke.
All right, let's begin with the 80-pound monofilament test.
Okay. All right, hold on. We're missing one thing. Just in case this myth is true, we just gotta be prepared.
All right, let's do it.
With the safety set, the guys pull the 400 yards of line at 20 miles an hour.
All right, we're at maximum speed.
Before Tory engages the drag, a kind of braking system.
All right, going to full drag.
which will take the friction up to the max.
Stop. Okay, we're at the end of our line.
All right, what do you got, Byron?
Oh, look at that, thing's glowing.
Looks like we are maxing out at 105 degrees.
So the good news is that the friction did heat up the reel, but the bad news is it's nowhere near enough for a flame. Can Dacron do any better?
Crank her up.
To maximum drag. Here we go.
Okay, we're at
Oh,
maximum
you can see the
speed.
heat as it spools. Look at that.
Wow.
Well, in a word, no, because neither it
We peaked at 112.
nor the next fine line, the steel,
All right, throw it into drag.
are close to setting the world on fire,
118 degrees.
which doesn't bode well.
So far, with the line spooling off the reel, we've generated heat, but nowhere near the temperature it's going to take to get smoke or fire.
The final fishing line is 500 yards of spectra.
We're at full speed.
We are in full drag.
Having a very narrow diameter means more line can fit on the reel, which should mean more heat.
I don't see any smoke. Definitely no fire. Stop. That's the end of the line.
What do you got?
158 degrees.
I think we have a winner.
That's pretty hot.
Peaking at an impressive 158, it's this last line that will be their weapon of choice. But the line's not the only thing in this lineup.
Now, the type of reel that we've been using so far is a modern lever drag. What we're moving on to is an older type of reel called a star drag. Now, the reason we think that this might burst into flames is this. The drag, all of the plates and washers are encapsulated in this tiny metal cylinder. So there's no heat sink to draw the heat away. It's going to build up inside of here, and we just might see some flames.
That's the theory.
Wind her up.
A theory that their first new reel,
Okay, we're at maximum speed.
a Star Drag 4-aught, rapidly proves in practice.
171, 172, 173, 174.
The star drag is hot.
175. Stop. Oh, you guys, we got all the way to 182.
It's a good start in this real ordeal. But can the 4-aughts big brother beat that benchmark?
Drag is on pretty tight. Get the net ready. We got a big one.
At just 20 miles an hour, the Star Drag rapidly reaches 180 degrees before this happens.
Red
We're
hot.
starting to smoke. It's smoking.
Oh my God!
Keep going. We got smoke.
Wow. 187.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Hey, get the fire extinguisher ready.
223.
That is incredible.
230.
All right, put more.
Whoa.
Woohoo! Too much drag.
You guys, we got this up to 245 degrees.
So we've completed our reel comparison, and this is the winner. The limiting factor, though, in our tests was the amount of speed that we could get pulling the line off and the amount of line we had. Now what we've got to do is find some way to get more line off this spool a lot faster.
And to do that, take one marlin, mount it on a go-kart, and head out to Alameda
All right, first mate, you ready for your fishing trip?
This could be the best trip ever.
for extreme fishing, MythBusters style. In Fixin' a Flat, Adam and Jamie just hit pay dirt.
Don't slow down for anything.
And that's got them thinking.
Dude, I don't think we're done fixing flats.
What do you have in mind?
I would like to redo this test, but in an urban environment.
Go on.
Well, imagine you're in a city and you've got a flat tire. Calling a mechanic is totally not an option, but around you, you've got all the things you might find in a city. Metal, glass, and wood, and you've got to use those to improvise a working wheel.
I like it. Let's set it up.
Okay.
Well, at a rainy runway, it's time to find out.
Look at that! Our backward solution lasted all the way to the city.
Well, now it's time for some urban solutions.
Absolutely. While you may see a lovely view of San Francisco behind me through the fog, an empty runway, and 100 or so cones, I see an urban obstacle course in Potentia.
Adam and Jamie will each focus on their own urban fix. But first, they need to conjure up a cityscape crash course, like this one.
This is the start point for our urban driving course. Now, the first goal we have here is to try to achieve a top speed of 40 miles an hour down the course and then stop before we hit the wall of buckets.
Why the wall of buckets? Well, in an urban environment, you need to be able to speed up and slow down quickly because you could hit something. On the theory that our wheel solutions may not allow us to do that, I've built a wall that we can hit safely. Each of these 5-gallon buckets is quarter full of water, so when we hit it, instead of totaling our car, we spill a little water.
Next up is the slalom. Now, the goal here is to snake our way back through this course without losing control.
The slalom ends here, where in the final test of urban driving, we will have to parallel park our car between these two blue cars. That is, if we make it that far.
And with everything set, the urban fixin' can commence, starting with Jamie.
Technically, there's nothing stopping you from rolling on a flat tire, other than sooner or later you're going to cut through it and you'll end up on the steel rim. So I figure, let's just try rolling on the steel rim.
It's a typically simple solution from the Heinemann that begins with him removing their logjam.
Well, that worked pretty well, sort of.
And ends with him first wrenching a tire from its rim and then attaching that rim to the wheelbase. Job done, in theory.
As far as riding on a steel rim is concerned, we've got a couple of things to be concerned about. And the first is balance. This steel rim is a lot smaller than a normal tire, and so it makes the car kind of lopsided. The other thing is that the steel is not going to grip the road as well as a rubber tire will, and so we've got traction issues. Whether either of these things turn out to be a problem as far as handling, that's what we're going to run the course to find out. Steel rim, no tire. In 3, 2, 1.
As per Jamie's prediction, the terrible traction makes for a slow start.
Feel that acceleration.
Which means reaching the required speed
Come on, you gotta get to 40 miles an hour.
before braking ahead of the wall
Come on, almost there.
is seriously challenging.
Stop, stop. Yeah. Nice. All right, right turn.
But having not hit the wall,
Into the slalom.
Jamie scrapes towards the slalom,
Faster, you can do it faster than that. That's it. Yeah.
where despite trying to stay on track, he soon gets into a spin.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But after a quick recovery, all that's left is the parallel park, where slow and steady
You park like my grandmother.
puts Jamie's rim back on the road to success.
Nice.
Handling on the steel rim turned out to be not half bad. You just can't accelerate very fast, but I reckon you could go a fair distance on it.
Well, somewhere there's probably a law against leaving massive scratches in the road. But as far as getting yourself out of a jam, I'm thinking that the steel rim worked pretty great. I'd totally go with it.
With Jamie's rim firing on nearly all cylinders, can Adam's mythical fix do any better?
It's round, it's metal. I think it's perfect.
Without a mechanic to call or a genuine spare to prepare,
It's frickin' heavy.
Adam's adamant that this manhole is the perfect wheel stand-in.
Look at how well that size matches. I have a good feeling about the manhole cover.
Being almost identical in size to a real wheel, all Adam has to do is cut out some bolt holes and then bolt it on. But will it be better than Jamie's rim?
Now that's a tire.
Check out your dubs, homie.
What do you think of that?
I like it. The manhole cover seems like it's a perfect fit, but the problem is it's only an inch wide, therefore it's not going to get traction. The other thing is that it's made out of cast iron, and that is inherently kind of brittle. So if this puppy hits some kind of a rock or a serious bump, we've got a big problem.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Here we go. Cast iron manhole cover wheel and 3, 2, 1, go!
Despite a fire and brimstone start,
Oh yeah, burn it. Yeah, you're really losing energy. Here we go, come on.
it's clear that this time the traction is actually less tragic as Adam gets up to speed
You're going 40.
and back with relative ease.
Yeah, the slalom.
Oh yeah, now we got it.
Because the manhole is such a good-sized fit, the car's balance is much better,
That actually corners fairly
Yeah,
well.
it does.
making its handling much less of a handful.
That's it. Come on, baby.
And when Adam messes up the parallel park,
Oh,
What was that you said about my parallel parking?
it's operator error
whoa. Sorry.
rather than a manhole mishap.
And we're done. Check out this wheel. Ha! It's perfect. I abused the crap out of that thing, and there's not a thing wrong with it. I am really impressed with the manhole cover. I expected the one place I'd have a problem were with traction and the fact that it's cast iron, that it might actually crack when I was skidding to the side like in the slalom. Traction was a problem, but this thing held up to the most abuse I could throw at it in the slalom and came back for more.
I like the manhole cover. It's got style. And it worked great. I'd say it's plausible.
Plausible it is, and you know what? It's given me some ideas.
All right.
Known as the cheetah of the sea, the sailfish has been clocked at an impressive 68 miles an hour. And it's speeds like that that may be able to do this. Well, at Alameda, the MythBusters are set to find out.
We're here.
I'll drop the anchor.
Now it's time to ramp this myth up. We were not able to get the speeds that we were looking for in our small scale test. We got smoke.
Wow.
Hey, get the fire extinguisher ready.
So we have a much faster fish capable of going up to 68 miles an hour, and we have a much longer run.
Now, why have I been chosen for this task? Well, it turns out that the weight of the car plus my weight is about the same weight as a big old sailfish.
With the same top speed and mass as a record-breaking sailfish, Kari's cart is the perfect fish replacement.
She drives like a maniac.
And that means it's time to go fishing.
So Kari is hooked. She's gonna take off down the runway going 68 miles an hour. At that point, I'm gonna start adding drag to the reel. I don't know if this thing's gonna catch on fire, but this fish is going 3 times as fast as we did in the shop. This thing's definitely gonna smoke.
But upping the speed is not the only change,
All right, Kari, you're hooked. Are you ready?
because they're also doubling the length of the line.
Go for it, Kari!
Will this be the perfect storm they need?
That is a fast fish. We got ourselves a big one. Whoa!
66 degrees.
Look at how fast it's going.
78. 86 degrees.
Oh my God.
90 degrees.
We're already smoking.
100 degrees. Oh my God.
That is a big fish. Look at all the oil pouring out of this thing right now.
The spools are spluttering, and the temperatures hit 200 degrees.
Listen to that reel spin.
But before it can rise anymore, Kari's reached the end of the 1,000-yard line.
Wow.
You hear it sizzling?
Oh, gee.
That was the fastest we have seen these reels move. Kari took off down the runway, and that thing was like, whee! And then the smoke started pouring out, and then the oil was like, and then it started burning. It was like, we got up to 205 degrees. Still, there was no flames. Right now, it is not looking good for this myth.
These are our washers from the last run. They are charred and smelly. But that's good news. That means that we're generating a lot of heat. But it also means that that reel is down for the count. So, We've got this. This is our backup reel. And this one is wound with 2,000 yards of spectra, over a mile. We're doubling our distance.
Doubling the distance will up the time for the heat to build up. And Kari is not objecting.
This has got to be the most fun thing they've asked me to drive on the show. I'm actually having a really, really good time. I mean, I'm buckling down and testing something scientifically.
Go fish! Alright, apply the drag!
All right, 86 degrees. Look at it go, 130 degrees.
It's already spewing oil.
160. 187 degrees, 190 degrees. Over 200.
It's getting
228.
It's getting too hot to hold.
Careful, man, 312.
With Kari sailing at 70, the temperature is soaring.
480.
480 degrees.
500 degrees.
We got nothing but smoke pouring out.
530 degrees.
The reel's smoking like a chimney.
Man, that's 530 degrees.
But despite her best efforts, Kari reaches the end of the line before the smoke turns to fire. But all is not lost.
How'd we do?
It was great. We got to over 500 degrees, but still no fire.
Yeah, doubling the line definitely helped, but we noticed one thing, the oil actually burns. So we're thinking maybe adding more lubrication and hopefully we might get a flame.
So next up, we're gonna add more lube. Now this is not as crazy a scenario as you might think. Let's look at the components of the reel. The spindle is steel, there are brass gears inside, the washers are asbestos. All these things have a fairly high ignition temperature. However, the lube that goes inside, that's right, get it all in there, has a fairly low ignition temperature, 200 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I think this really increases our chances of getting ignition, particularly if we add a lot of it.
So with a significant amount of lubrication,
That's gonna be a slippery deck of your boat, isn't it?
it really is now or never for this myth.
That fish is
80 degrees.
taking off.
99 degrees, 120 degrees.
It's spewing out oil.
150, 200 degrees.
We're getting smoking from all over right now.
238, 266.
Come on, get hotter.
300.
Like last time, the temperature of the reel rockets.
That is the most amount of smoke we have seen on this reel.
But even with Tory spraying oil directly onto the hottest part, by the time Kari's motored her mile, there's still no ignition.
Well, we got a lot of smoke, but still no fire.
No fire?
No fire at all, and that was with a long line, the best reel, and a lot of lube.
And the fastest fish we could find. But you know what? This myth is totally busted.
We really gave this myth a chance. We used the star drag reel, which generated the most heat. We let line run out for over a mile at 68 miles per hour. And then we put a flammable lubricant on the wheel. If this isn't gonna cause some sort of flame, this myth is busted.
Kari's right. Even with the deck loaded,
It's smoking from all over right now.
there was still no sign of a simmer.
It's busted.
Without doubt, it's myth busted. But as the saying goes, there's plenty more fish in the sea.
Maybe there's an even faster fish. Maybe there's a monster fish. Maybe there's some fish out there that is beyond what we know. And that is what we're going to do next. Find a really, really, really fast fish.
Welcome back. Now, all this episode, we have been looking at innovative ways to replace one of your tires if yours goes flat or missing. And we've tried some backward fixes. Those worked out pretty good. That was good. Tried a single manhole cover as a replacement for a tire. We tried a straight rim as a replacement. And they worked pretty good, but we're not gonna leave it there. No, actually, Jamie is interested in what it's like to drive in a car of all 4 rims. I'm interested in what it's like to drive in a car that has all 4 tires replaced by a manhole cover, so get ready for the race-off. You've heard of shirts versus skins? Now it's time for the hole covers versus the rims.
In the one-wheel deal,
Feel that acceleration.
there was little to separate their 2 urban fixes.
That's it. Come on, baby.
So now Jamie in his original car and Adam in a car of his own design,
It's done!
are going head-to-head in a four-wheel fix finale. The goal? To see whose urban solution is superior.
Shall we change these puppies out?
Yeah.
You like my paint job?
You know how I love a good flame pattern. The plan is simple. I'm gonna put 4 steel rims on my car. Adam's gonna put 4 manhole covers on his car, and we're gonna race. We'll just see who does better.
With a winner-takes-all course featuring slaloms, barriers, and bunting,
Oh, that's a proper speedway.
Adam's confident.
This contest is pretty simple. The low rider versus the knife rider. Slicing through the night. I think the outcome's gonna be pretty simple too. I think I, in the flaming car, am gonna smoke the Hoosier.
But Jamie's the man with a plan.
Just like with rubber tires, these steel wheels will lose traction if they break free. So the key to success here is going to be for me to ride the accelerator so that I don't lose traction, but I actually do get up speed.
Jamie's right. This track race is all about traction.
Okay, rims versus manhole covers.
Whoever has more will take the title.
In 3, 2, 1.
And right from the word go,
Oh, he's way ahead of me. Come on.
Jamie takes a commanding lead,
Yeah, baby.
while Adam has just a fraction of the traction.
Oh, no!
And although Jamie doesn't have enough control to steer clear of the crash barrier, he is beating Adam hands down.
Well, that didn't go at all like I expected. Not only did I get no traction and couldn't get up to speed, once I did, I had very little control, careened right into the water pyramid. And on the slalom, I'm spinning 360, 720s. I have absolutely no traction with these manhole covers. No! No! As I'm doing this, I'm watching Jamie serenely, like the turtle from that cartoon, slow and steady, making his way unnervingly around all of the slalom cones. And then he goes through the finish line and insouciantly turns around and waits for me. I won! Watches me spin out and slowly make my way all the way to the finish line 19 seconds later.
Well, Adam said he was gonna smoke me, but I don't think so. I actually whooped him. I also was really surprised because I thought he had more traction than I did. Turns out he didn't.
Ain't that the truth? The manholes, impeded by their narrow nature, were next to useless.
The rims win.
What did we learn?
Well, I think throughout this whole episode, we've learned that a flat tire does not necessarily incapacitate you. Pretty much every last thing we tried worked to some degree, albeit slowly.
Just goes to show a little ingenuity will take you a long way. Huh?
It sure will. Let's get out of here.
All right, this myth is busted. We went 70 miles an hour, the fastest a fish can go for over a mile, and all we got was smoke.
And that was giving it the best possible chances of it working. But I'm still curious, can you set a reel on fire by just spinning it fast enough? I think it's time we replicate the results.
Well, you know what that means? We need something that goes faster than any fish ever recorded. We need a superfish.
So, back at the runway, it's time for MythBusters Extreme Fishing Take 2.
So it's my favorite time of the myth, where we replicate the results. We got our boat, we got our reel, we got our line, and we got a really big, fast fish.
My friends, let me present this motorcycle sidecar professional racing rig, otherwise known as Sharkus Maximus.
With a top speed of 200 miles an hour, this road racing sidecar, piloted by pro driver Mike Jones and his counterbalancing assistant, is the real deal. But upping the speed of the fish isn't the only switcheroo.
So far, we have exhausted everything and we have not been able to get a reel to catch on fire. So we decided to switch to a more flammable lubricant, engine starting fluid. Now this proved to be the most effective back at the shop. It is basically ether. It is very flammable, has a low ignition temperature. The only problem is it makes you dizzy and it evaporates quickly. But we're gonna see how this does on our fishing reel.
And with that,
All right, you're all hooked up.
it's time for this finale to shape up or ship out.
Ready to go fishing?
I'm ready.
Is the shark ready? Yeah. All right, here we go. Sharks away in 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, putting the drag on.
We're only 120, 245, 300.
Get it on the drag.
We're up to 470, 500, 600,
Oh my
700. Oh my God. 700 degrees. Whoa! Whoa!
Oh, man.
Wow.
How much?
We got up to 700 degrees, red hot.
And we broke the line.
We broke the line.
Woo!
Despite the daring duo hitting 140 miles an hour, the reel hitting 700 degrees, and Tory adding close to a cup of ether, there was still no ignition, which leaves just one thing left to try. More speed. And for that, Kari's taking no chances.
Kari, don't you think that's a little overkill? Oh my God,
right.
that is
Ready?
hilarious.
Okay, all sprayed, the starter fluid. Let's get our reel on.
In 3, 2, 1, hit it!
Both Racer Mike and his mate, and the temperature of the reel, rocket up.
We got ourselves a big one this time. 95, 100. Holy crap, he is 300. I'm on full drag right now. 200, 380, 400.
This time, the shark's speeding at 180 miles an hour.
600.
But when the temperature passes 700,
Whoa. Oh, this is ridiculous.
the line melts but doesn't ignite.
There is no way this myth is true, but we need to see this thing catch on fire.
Without doubt, they got the hottest reel possible. But that heat within the reel was still not enough to ignite their fuel on the line. So as a last resort, Tory adds one final ingredient, a 1200-degree flame, and
Ah! Finally! No longer I've been waiting to see a flaming reel.
Now this is MythBusters Fishing!
finally, there's fire in the hole. But only thanks to a naked flame burning 500 degrees hotter than anything their fish could create.
It wasn't until we introduced an open flame to the reel did we ever see a flaming reel. This one is busted on every level.
In fact, you might say it's busted hook, line, and sinker.
Well, I'd have to say we've tested this one thoroughly.
Yeah, that was a great fishing trip. Should we set sail for home?
Yeah, let's go. You motorboating son of a gun, you.
Oh, you old sailor, you.
Think we're out of gas.